As of yesterday, the channel GMS rating, which is was my main channel, was taken down. I already tried to warn everyone that there was two strikes on that channel, anyways, which is why I was doing these shorter length videos, and I was trying to encourage everybody to come over here to GMS in Revelation Times, which is the name that I actually originated with. So I'm going to continue over here, and hopefully, I only have 16 subscribers on this channel. I'm not looking for a large amount, but I'm just looking to reach the elect of Yasha Allah and prophesy in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai, the true doctrine, which are the elders and apostles of Great Millstone have taught this truth. And of course there's an Akim that's out there that's also pushing for this truth. But pretty much, I knew they was going to take the channel down. It was just a matter of time. I mean, when you already got two strikes, and well, what was I doing before the channel got taken down? Because YouTube suspended me for 2 weeks on that channel, just right before the channel went down, about a month later. So what was I doing before? Oh, I was prophesying against Esau, the so-called white man. I was coming against him. And I was also speaking of the plot to blaspheme Great Millstone, that you had all these other groups, and, recently Vigilant Christian, Super Mario, the faggot, trying to expose black Hebrew Israelites, which we know it's not a black thing. So the biggest reason they come after that channel, they took it down, is because, of course, I'm not so-called black. I am actually, look like the so-called white man. I have the spirit of an Israelite in me, but stuck with an Edomite body, so I just fucking go with it, What the fuck else can I do? It's part of the curses anyways. Confusion of faces, which you could read about it in Daniel chapter 9. And so, yeah, we confused the fuck out of Esau. So, that's the main reason why they took down that channel. But, obviously, I knew what Esau's up to. I've had my channels taken down so many times that, there's nothing new under the sun, So, I was prophesying about that. Also prophesying against the war on Syria. That this leads to what we know is when Esau gathers his mountain of troops to come against the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and I was also prophesying about that he shall be buried in the valley of Hamon-Gog, and who Hamon-Gog is that area, which it's just another way of saying Josaphat, in which that's that area above Iran, right there around Russia. This would be that valley, which is that whole Middle Eastern section. So pretty much the valley of Hamon-Gog is the Middle East, war on Syria, pretty much what's happening today. Because we know that Esau is gathering his mountain of troops to come against the Most High for that day, because that's what Armageddon means. Armageddon means mountain of troops, which I learned that from Apostle Tahar. So when I say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach this truth, now I'm making a direct reference to Apostle Tahar, who has had this truth and teaches this truth, as well as many other elders and apostles out there. So, I don't say it lightly, but pretty much what Esau can't stand is, especially when we Confusion of Faces come against him and we back our brothers that are on the streets teaching, I said I also wanted to start Great Millstone in Reading, wanted to get a camp set up here. And I think that was also another scare. Esau got scared because if there was a camp in Reading, why, this could lead to another camp in Portland or Salem. That you would have a lot of camps in between Seattle and San Francisco. Because you have Great Millstone Northwest, which is in Seattle, and then you have Great Millstone East Bay, or West Bay channel, number 7, which I'm sure that, I think we've all had our channels taken down many a times, so we put numbers there, things like that, you know, because of course I do know that there was a time when we was on Daily Motion, which surprisingly I have an In Revelation channel there, but that was before I came to this truth, you know. But I knew something, as Paul Bagley was saying, which we know he's a false teacher now, but you know, something biblical was going on, you know, and so you have to fucking be blind to not see that something's going on, you know, especially, you know, when the war drums are beating, you know. So that's what's happening, you know, and so you know, I figured out that the 501c3 church wasn't teaching the truth, you know, and eventually everything led me to where I am today, that, well, those people in Israel today are not the real Jews of the Bible, that the real Jews of the Bible went into captivity and are still in captivity today, that they came by slave trade. And I had mentioned, I said, oh, you thought that they were just African Americans, that they were African. How the fuck do you think that they got into Africa in the first place? Duh! Israel went into captivity. So, you know, that raised a lot of eyebrows, you know, prior channel, you know, and so when I came into this truth, man, it was a big threat to Esau, because then I found GMS Toronto. And then I learned the prophecy that's right there in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verses 14 through 17, about what the Son of Man looks like, what Yahweh Shai looks like. You know, and that there was no doubt that the images of Cesare Borgia were false images. And that his true biblical image, well, he's going to look, he's going to have white woolly hair just like Morgan Freeman, but he's going to have a golden girdle. His face, you know, his feet will be like undefined brass as if burned through a furnace. In other words, he's going to have dark skin. He's going to have white woolly hair just like Morgan Freeman. So he's going to look a lot like that. Of course, he's going to be very strong. We know that he was a carpenter, you know, that he did carpentry work. So we know that he's a very strong man. Not no weak man. Very strong man. So, and that's what he looked like, and there was no doubt about this. Now I actually have the true biblical image. So, you know, I started coming against Christianity, which I was already saying, well, why aren't they teaching about the mark of the beast being the microchip? I also knew that the RFID microchip is an incision underneath the skin, you know, and the Esau's pushing it big time, and I also knew that it was in the legislation of Obamacare, you know. Of course, I was also exposing Barack Obama as the Antichrist. This is before I came to this truth, you know. But that's what was on that channel, you know. So all those old videos are gone anyways. But you would have seen the conversion happening. In the essence, no, an Edomite can't convert to this. But however, a confusion of face. What had happened is, you know, I had figured out that something was conflicting in me. You know, there was confliction with everything I had been taught was a lie. Well, as you come to this truth, you find out that everything you've been taught has been a lie. So, found out that this word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai differs with everything we'd been taught. And so I started teaching that as I was gaining more. I was forwarding videos, because that's what In Revelation Times does, is it forwards videos. And so they took down the channel, GMS Writing. So I'm just down to one channel now, so I will continue my efforts to make these longer length videos, you know, usually 2 hours, but sometimes can go 3 hours, because, you know, it's not just us looking at news and events, which I also show the Syria news. We used to have Syria news in English, but of course, like everything else, you know, it's now only in Arabic, but you can understand what's going on in any tongue. You know, you can see the footage, and of course we speak against and prophesy against that. The war on Syria, which is just Esau, you know, raising his sword, you know, pretty much the whore, which is Babylon the Great, America, just showing, that they can and they will. But like everything else, these nations are getting fucking angry at America, at Babylon the Great, and are going to come against the whore, Babylon the Great. And it's happening. They want America out of Syria. They also want them out of Iraq and Libya. And it talks about that in Ezekiel 38, that the Libyans, and we can now start to see Russia speaking up more on Libya, so you can best believe that Russia's going to intervene on the whole Libya thing and going to get America out of there too. America, Babylon the Great's going to get its ass whipped by Russia. And America's also known as that nation of rushing waters, dealing with Isaiah chapter 18. It's all about the downfall of America, in which that's right after Isaiah chapter 17, which is about the fall of Damascus. So we see everything leading up towards that. And, of course, I bring out all these points. And I think that more than anything else is why they took down the channel. I mean, I don't expect that they're going to give me strikes on a channel that only has 16 subscribers and a few videos up. Maybe a couple hundred videos. But nonetheless, though, I will always try to find backup because this is nothing new under the sun. So GMS rating has been taken down, so subscribe to this channel if you've caught this video or you were trying to Google me, say you lost your subscription to me. I'm still here. Always look for both names, GMS in Revelation Times or GMS Reading, and you will find me. That's the best I can tell y'all because, again, we know that this famine of the word has been coming. I was talking about that too. I knew exactly what was coming because I know some other brothers, like GMS London. His channel got taken down, and so he had to broadcast through GMS Dallas and Class 3, because Esau's coming against us big time because we're coming against him. But you see, you can't stop us from waking up the elect, waking up to who we are. And that's why I've always stated, though, that, you've been taught by the so-called white man. You thought you were the so-called white man. But yet you differed with everything he was teaching. It's like, wait a minute, I don't believe that. I don't feel that way about it. You were an outcast. Things in you differed. It's because you've had a spirit of an Israelite the entire time. So it's time to wake up to who you are. And then the same thing goes for blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. You've been lied to about your nationality. Just been called Indians, or you just been called wetbacks, illegal aliens, all the names that Esau throws at you. And of course, talking about the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, you've been called niggers, lowlives, and everything that the so-called white man throws on you. But yet, you knew he was the devil. The one that hides himself behind the white sheets and wears the fucking uniforms because he's afraid to show his face. But Esau has been made bare for who he is. It's kind of funny that Donald Trump wants to condemn the KKK when he has members in his cabinet that are directly affiliated with the KKK, so he's got to do something to speak on that to make himself look good. As if we believe anything that Donald Trump says. We know that Amalekites, or the so-called Khazars, which they are the Khazars, but the Amalekites are the highest part of Esau. That's your Rothschilds and Rockefellers, Benjamin Netanyahu, all those people over there are the Amalekites who pretend to be Jews but are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. So we know that King Saul did not slay all the Amalekites. So that's why we have these problems today. But we do know the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the Son of Man, will come against Amalek, Haman Gog, in the valley of Haman Gog. That's what this place will be. That's in the area of Josaphat, which I'm probably mispronouncing it. So again, I'll eventually touch up on this. But either way, though, we're going to fucking bury his ass. It's coming. And there's nothing he can do to stop us. So, yeah, I mean, They could shut down the airwaves and all that. It just means that we're closer to this truth that the elect have been woken up, because we will still continue to use the internet against them until we've reached the elect. You know, even if we hop from channel to channel, it's coming. We know that the mark of the beast is here, and we know that pretty much Esau is censoring the internet. You know, but you know, want to give a shout out to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who teach us truth and sincerity, and of course double honors. We hope to reach the hopeful elect of Yashala, waking up as to who we are. That we are the real, true Hebrew Israelites, and that is a great millstone that they cannot even come against, because Esau is going to lose.